After setting the Ribs on fire from deep, the Kentucky Wildcats welcome a defending national champion inside Rupp Arena for their second and final preseason exhibition game. Good evening, everybody. I'm Darren Hedrick, joined by Cameron Mills. And Cameron, they've got a defending champion, the Minnesota State Mavericks, in the house tonight, and Kentucky is hoping they can repeat the performance they had in the first game against Kentucky Wesleyan when they shot 50% from beyond the arc.
It's hard to imagine how they're going to do that, but I mean, just looking at the highlights, the one thing that stands out that you notice, no one hesitates. I mean, it's a catch and shoot. Catch and release from everybody. Every single time that ball is whipped around, the guy knows he's going to shoot it almost before it gets there. I mean, Trent Noah here, this was his third, I believe, that he got in that second half, and this great pass by Walker Horn to find Jackson wide open for that three-point shot. And then Jackson, again, not even thinking about it. If you're going to give me that much room, and when you've got the green light, as these Wildcats do, you're going to shoot those shots.
One thing about it, when you talk about putting pressure on opposing defenses, one way to do that is if they give you any little hint of breathing room, you put it up.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, when you've got the green light, when your coach basically says, look, if you've got to open three and you don't shoot it, you're coming to sit with me. Believe me, you're going to shoot it if you've got that window.
Now the Cats control the opening tip, and here we go. We're off and running. Kentucky and Minnesota State in the final preseason exhibition game. Here's Lamont Butler. Carr works it down low to Williams. Back out. Oweh from the corner. Misses. And that's what we're going to see this year, Cameron, is inside out.
And there's a situation, though, where I feel like Amari could have easily just gone ahead and put that in. I mean, I think he had an easy layup.
Here's the starting lineup for the Mavericks. Kyrese Willingham, a part of that national championship team last year, along with Harrison Broadus. Off the turnover, Oweh.
Oweh's so good at not only transition but controlling the ball. You saw him kind of dip it away from the defender, kind of let the defender breeze by him and then go up with the right hand.
Kentucky starting five, the same as the first exhibition game. Oweh, Butler, Robinson, Carr, and Williams. Here's Willingham out front. He's guarded by Robinson. Tough shot, left it short.
That's what Coach Pope wanted. He wanted Willingham, who can create on his own. He wanted to see stops on him.
Nice deflection by Willingham. He comes up with a loose ball. And they immediately turn it back over. Butler dishes to Carr, back to Butler. A nice job by Minnesota State defending underneath. Cameron, here's Coach Pope. We introduced him in the last game. We'll do it again. This guy's got an impressive resume coming from BYU.
And then remember, the greatest part about his entire resume is in his third year, finished his third year of medical school at Columbia University, decided, I want to go be a coach. And in 11 years, he's coaching the University of Kentucky.
Willingham from out front. A rebound, Oweh. He's off and running. We'll see this a lot. And Oweh has all 4 points for the Wildcats.
We used to talk about how difficult that shot was, that little short corner shot, and how hard that was as far as the hardest shot in basketball. I think it's that little runner. It's like when you're not using the backboard, he's trying to float it in.
How about the defense of Butler there on Broadus? Kentucky comes away with a rebound. We'll see that a lot from Lamont Butler this year, one of the best defenders in the country. Here's Williams back out to Oweh. They find Robinson. He's double teamed and had it knocked away by Willingham, and it's out on the baseline. It'll be Kentucky basketball.
So already we're seeing a big difference between Kentucky Wesleyan and this team, Minnesota State. Deflections, hands to the passing lanes. I mean, they're making it hard on Kentucky right now.
Matt Morgenthaler, the head coach in his 24th season of the Mavericks, coming off their first NCAA title. He's won 488 games there in Mankato. They do a nice job of covering up Robinson.
They really do.
Here's Butler down the right side, didn't get it off in time. Good defense by the Mavericks.
And again, exactly what I think their coach was looking for earlier is like, okay, we want to have those stops. That's a stop I don't think we thought we'd see from a Kentucky team so far. As far as you got threes and layups, 35 seconds, they made it work.
We talked to Coach Morgenthaler earlier today, and he was talking about how they've already played one scrimmage, and he thought his team was a little tight. Here's a three from out front. That's off the mark by Harmon. Kentucky with the rebound. And when you're a defending national champion, you've got guys back off that team. they want to win another national championship as Robinson misses from out front. But Cameron, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and that was the message from Coach Margenthaler. Hey, guys, it's October.
Right, and that's the thing is that they're trying, at least in his words, he felt like they were trying to win their back-to-back championship now when they can't win it till April. So a lot of work to be done between now and then, but just play loose at this point.
Great denial there by Carr, but the Mavericks keep the basketball. Harmon off the glass, and a block on top. And Minnesota State will head to the free throw line as Carr picked up the foul.
See that where Carr was on this. Keep my mouth shut on that one. I mean, that wasn't.
He looked like he was there, but
no, he was there. Didn't even just look like it, Darren. He was there.
Free throws no good by Harmon. Harmon is a guy that we actually asked Coach Margenthaler about in pregame. He's a transfer from Wayne State, which is in the conference, and now we've got a whistle on the other end, and Kentucky gets an and one.
Amari Williamson limping somehow, or for some reason I should say. Looks like maybe tweaked a knee or tweaked his ankle or something.
Get another look to see if we can see what happens. He's along that baseline.
But again, Oweh, things not happening from the outside, not getting the layups, maybe overpassing a lot for Kentucky, but Oweh, just as he did in that first game, starting off strong.
Garrison will check in for Williams as they check him out in the corner of the bench. So here's Oweh, who's got all 6 of Kentucky's points early. He'll have a chance for a 7th.
Only 9 free throws, I believe it was, for Kentucky last game. See if they can get more of this. Again, it's difficult with the way they play, but you know they're going to get to the line this year a lot.
Here's Willingham. Little up and under, nice move. He's a dynamic scorer. Coach Pope talked about him earlier today. Last year, averaged over 14 points a game, had the game-winning shot in the national championship. Robinson connects from deep.
And you kind of get the sense that that's what Kentucky needed to kind of get going here. I mean, Minnesota State's playing great defense, and Jackson Robinson that time just, again, comes around on that high screen, and just kind of we saw the highlights. He was going to shoot it one way or the other, it looked like.
That is the 6th three-pointer that Robinson has made in these 2 exhibition games. He had 5 against Kentucky Wesleyan, 19 points. Mavericks being patient right now. Willingham covered up, finally gives it away, and Daniel lets it fly. That one's over the backboard and out, and that will bring us to a timeout. Minnesota State won the national championship last year on a big shot at the end. We'll recreate.
Hi, I'm Kyrie Willingham. I was part of the last year's national championship team for Minnesota State, and I was the one that hit the game winner. So first we got the stop, then we came down with about 10 seconds left, and we went at 6. And Justin Egan's and Malik were running a Spain play, and I was just relaxing in the corner, just ready to shoot it. And I seen they ran it. Justin passed it to Malik, and then Malik was stumbling and passed it to me in the corner, and that's when it was all history.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Great job on the passes by Cameron Mills and our director, Seth Payne. And by the way, folks, we would love to show the actual shot. Unfortunately, NCAA copyright laws don't allow us to. So we recreated it the best way we knew how, and the team had a lot of fun with it. So did Kyrie.
Can't show the NCAA play during an NCAA game.
Kentucky out of the timeout. We have a Kriisa sighting. He's in the ball game for 77. Down low to Garrison. Got it to stay in.
Love the way Garrison immediately just turned around and put it up. Didn't even know. Kind of felt the defense kind of go for the steal, so he knew he had nobody behind him.
Kobe Brea also on the floor for the Wildcats. Here's Will Upsall. Now to Broadus. Broadus in the lane over Kriisa. And the rebound by Garrison. Kriisa flying up the floor. Comes back to Garrison. Now to Robinson. Kentucky going into their set here. Out to Brea.
Brandon's got a big size advantage down the low post if he wants it.
I'm not sure he realized he was one-on-one. Here's Kriisa. No. We asked Coach Mark Pope when Kerr Kriisa is full go, 100%, how he improves this Kentucky team as a foul is called on Carr. And the two words he used to describe Kriisa are pace and volatility.
And I believe he used the word salty at one point in that conversation.
Salty volatility.
Salty volatility. Well, but because basically he was even struggling, Coach Pope was, to come up with, how do I describe what he brings to the table other than the energy? Obviously, we saw him he streaks down the court. I mean, he pushes the ball, I think, honestly, like no one else on this team. But he's got this attitude that comes along with it that Coach Pope said, look, this is important. I need guys, probably could even use one or two more of them that have this kind of sort of, attitude of, hey, I'm going to get in your face if I need to get in your face.
Kriisa's a fifth-year senior, transfer from West Virginia, also spent 3 years at Arizona. Here's a handoff to Robinson. They've done a great job working against Jackson Robinson. He puts one up anyway. That's no good. Almonor with the rebound, out to Brea. From the free throw line, Brea connects.
Brea probably could have easily taken that three-point shot, but I like the way he was thinking, right? I mean, as a team, Kentucky not shooting, well, certainly not shooting the way they were last week from three, but again, just deciding, you know what? I'm going to be patient, take the one dribble pump fake, and get an easier shot.
Nice job by the Mavericks to work it down low. Malcolm Jones gets it home.
Remember, both these teams run similar offenses.
And now a steal. Here's Jones on the run out. And he finishes with authority.
All right, Kentucky's got to respond because Minnesota State's bench is up and in this game.
Here's Robinson. Bottom.
I mean, there's the benefit when you've got somebody that can do that.
It's his second triple.
By the way, 2 fouls on Carr. He picked up that one down here. Again, Kentucky just kind of lost defensively on that last defensive play.
And the Mavericks unable to respond. Here's Kriisa. Watch him go. Out to Brea. Now back to Kriisa on the baseline. Here's Robinson again. Short. Broadus with the board. Right now, Kentucky is without Williams, who went out, Gimpy, and Carr's got 2 fouls. And now Robinson dribbled it off his leg.
Looks like a kick ball.
Willingham, easy for me to say. Nice recovery by Kentucky defensively.
Oh, I was going to say Brandon Garrison, give him all credit. Didn't get the block shot, but got enough of a contest on that to make it a hard layup and wound up missing. Minnesota State's going to get the ball back, but at the same time, again, that he broke up a layup.
Freshman Colin Chandler's checked into the game for Robinson. Cats lead 17-9. Willingham's got it. Kyrese Willingham out to Broadus. Broadus puts it up. Nice box out by Jones. 17-11. Chandler right corner, thought about it. Garrison will. In and out.
Now again, this is where Kentucky's being challenged. This is what Coach Pope said he wanted. Threes aren't falling early, so then what do? Do they get it done defensively? Get the easy shots for the layups? What do? How do they handle this adversity?
Out to Broadus, another one. Yes! First shot to fall tonight for Broadus. First 3 for Minnesota State.
I think Coach Pope knows the under 12 timeout's coming soon, but not calling a timeout, just going to let his team kind of suffer through this and play through it.
Brea tried to answer, but the rebound is taken away. Carson Schwein on the board. And in transition, they lose Upsall, but he can't get the shot to fall, and Chandler gets the rebound off the deflection. Garrison, handoff Kriisa. Here's Almonor in the lane. And he got fouled. That'll bring us to a timeout. Minnesota State showing why they're defending national champions, playing Kentucky early, tough early. Harrison Broadus open for the triple. If you want to know what Kentucky wants to do offensively, just look at the shot chart from the game against Kentucky Wesleyan. 50% from beyond the arc, but take a look, Cameron, at the only mid-range jump shot there on the left.
That number 11 sitting there on the left-hand side. The only I thought the art of the mid-range jump shot was lost on these kids. Well, it is, especially at Kentucky right now, because it's either three-point shots or layups with this offense. By the way, speaking of that shot clock or that shot chart, as far as points in the paint right now, Minnesota State's winning 10-8 over Kentucky. So three's not falling for Kentucky early, would you say 2 of 9? And Minnesota State, because Kentucky's losing men randomly just in transition down here, a couple times not knowing who to guard, and someone's left open, and that just completely offsets the defense and puts them in a weak position.
Trent Noah's in the game out of the timeout for the Wildcats. He's in there with Almonor, Brea, Chandler, and Butler back in the lineup. So this is a far more guard-oriented lineup for Coach Pope on the floor right now. Willingham covered up. They swing it out. And Daniel can't get the long shot to fall. Nice battle there by Noah. Reestablished himself, got the rebound.
Smart play by Noah that time. Make sure those 2 feet were inbounds.
Corner 3 won't fall for Chandler. Kentucky now 2 of 10 from beyond the arc, and we've got a foul on the Wildcats.
All right, now again, shots aren't falling. At least the threes aren't consistently. So how does Kentucky handle it? I mean, this is where Coach Pope said, I want my team to be challenged. Right now, mentally, in their head, they're being challenged because they know they're a three-point shooting team that is capable of shooting at a high rate and at a high percentage. They're not falling now, so what do? Lamont Butler immediately picks up full court, which, as you said earlier, always has the green light to do if he wants to.
Oweh is in for Almonor. Kentucky subbing. Drew Daniel with the basketball. Ahead to Upsall for 3. That's rimming out. And right now, both teams struggling from deep. Minnesota State now 1 for 9. Chandler with a step back. And the Mavericks with a rebound. That's Daniel. So what do you want to see from Kentucky now, Cameron? Do you want to start seeing them maybe attack the rim more with the threes not falling?
I think always when your shot, whether no matter where it's coming from, isn't falling, you want to get the easiest shot possible and just kind of get yourself going as a team and individual. So, yeah, whatever they can do to get into paint, draw fouls, get layups, and then those threes will start to fall.
3 from the corner by Daniel, and it's a 1-point game with 9:25 to go.
You notice this as well, and I'm going to say it again. Coach Pope not taking a timeout, not bringing his team over, not saying, hey, we're doing this wrong, do this wrong. He's letting them play through this as a learning experience. Butler
does exactly what you ask, sir.
I'm not sure there's many people, Division I, Division II, that can keep him from getting to the rack if he wants to. He just kind of bully his way in there.
It's Kentucky's first field goal in almost 4 minutes. Upsall. Chandler with some nice defense there, backing the Mavericks up. Here's a deep 3, and it's no good. That was a heat check shot there for Drew Daniel. Oweh attacking. Wow.
Layup number 2. Threes aren't falling. Get the easy buckets. Put some pressure back on Minnesota State instead of taking it yourself.
Got that strong upper body and just finished.
I mean, maybe only two freshmen on the court, but everybody else has got this strong upper body.
And now Butler. That's what he does best. It'll be Minnesota State ball.
And just a mental mistake by Lamont that time. He kind of waited on the defender when he could have just exploded the rim and got the easy layup. He was going for the and one.
Oweh there. He's so lethal in transition the way he just attacks.
And just smooth, too. I mean, he's always got a very clear awareness of where that basket is, regardless of how many times he's dipsy-doodled and contorted himself around the goal.
One thing that stands out in this first half, Kentucky shooting 47% despite 2 of 11 from 3. Butler swats it away.
That's those layups that they're getting.
Noah on the attack. Rebound controlled by Harmon.
Again, the defense in Minnesota State, they're just not, Kentucky's kind of starting to second-guess themselves on some of these shots, as opposed to that highlight reel we saw at the beginning of the broadcast. Nothing but catch and shoot, catch and shoot.
Double teaming Daniel, now it's on the floor in a scrum. Chandler's got it. He throws it ahead to Oweh. Behind the back. And they can't get it to finish. Oweh runs it down.
Great job.
No, it's taken away. Daniel with it from Minnesota State. Here's Daniel again. Wow.
When a team is hot, or a player's hot, I mean, you can get your hand in their face. Chances are if they're hot, they're still going to make it.
22-20. Butler back to Noah. And it won't stay down.
Now here's the good news, I think, for Kentucky is I don't think any players on this team is going to go away from shooting three-point shots.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be even the slightest thought of, well, I don't have it tonight, I'm not going to put it up anymore. I think they're all going to continue to fire these threes.
Both teams are a combined 5 for 25 from 3. Good defense there by Noah to alter the shot.
Caused the offensive player to duck his shoulders too.
And Butler draws the foul with some nifty moves going to the basket. And that'll bring us to a timeout. Minnesota State battling Kentucky hard here in the first half. Both teams struggling from distance. It's nothing new to talk about Kentucky having to put together an entirely brand new roster from year to year, but Coach Pope went about it a little bit of a different way, dipping into the transfer portal. He's got one of the most experienced rosters. Actually, it is the most experienced roster in program history, over 586 starts by all those gentlemen you see there on your screen. Lamont Butler at the line shooting 2. And the one thing Coach Pope wanted to see as this team comes together with the regular season looming, Cameron Mills, how do they react when things are not going their way and the shots are not falling? So far in this first half, Amari Williams has gone out. Andrew Carr's got 2 fouls, and Jackson Robinson was not in on that last sequence of plays. So how do they react in doing it against a defending national champion out of Division II?
Well, how about this stat? And just looking down at the stats right now, this one shocked me. Kentucky's getting out-rebounded right now by Minnesota State. And again, not that rebounding's all size, but wouldn't expect that. And yet, again, it's just hustle, and that's Minnesota State's getting to the ball early.
And a miss from the free throw line by Jones. Andrew Carr, by the way, is back on the floor with those 2 fouls. So is Jackson Robinson. He's back in. Here's Noah. Yep.
And again, that's the flow of the offense, right? Not necessarily exactly the cuts, the screens, but we've got inside out. Andrew Carr backs his man down. One guy has to go help. Finds Trent Noah open for the 3, and Trent again, just let it fly immediately.
Broadus trying to get around Butler. That's hard to do.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure that's going to happen easily, at least.
Dillingham was calling for the ball, but nice defense by Kentucky. Here's a follow-away shot by Upsall, no good. And the rebound to Chandler. Ahead to Robinson. Back to Chandler. They find Butler in the paint. Out to Carr. He can shoot. Too long.
Got to get back.
Here's Willingham against Noah. Willingham forces it up off the rim. Chandler there for Kentucky. Ahead to Carr. Spinning and dishing. Robinson from the corner. No. Out to Chandler. Extra pass to Butler. That works.
That's the basketball that Mark Pope wants him running. Again, came off an offensive rebound. Always means there's probably going to be an open three-point shot somewhere. But how did they find it? Ball goes out. Ball gets rotated around to the opposite way.
7-0 run by Kentucky. They've got the lead back to 9. Broadus to Jones. Broadus. That's off the mark.
But there's the rebounding, which is key for Kentucky. I think Minnesota State gets the idea that, and we know they like to shoot threes, but that they need to make a lot of threes to beat Kentucky today. So they're taking maybe some, well, certainly some contested ones. But if they don't fall, then Kentucky's got to get the rebound and not give them second chances.
Robinson from 3. Yes. Timeout.
Get the layups. When the layups start falling, everything just kind of seems to fall.
Jackson Robinson, after a short time on the bench, comes back on the floor. Immediate impact. Cats on a 10-0 run, part of a bigger 14-3 effort, and they've made 3 of their last 5 from distance, Cameron Mills, and you and I were just talking about it. It's because when you start looking, the Wildcats were doing a better job of going in and out.
Well, again, watch Andrew Carr. He kind of forces the defender down to get him. finds Trent Noah easy on the three. Same thing, penetration, look out, one more pass, open shooter. I mean, again, once that ball goes in, the defense has to collapse. It's a matter of getting in and then looking out. Minnesota State, though, they've done a great job of getting deflection. So even when that ball's gone in occasionally, the bounce or the passes out, they've kind of been in the way or gotten their hands at least to deflect the ball, maybe not led to a turnover, making it more difficult.
There you see the difference between the last game against Wesleyan and the game tonight against Minnesota State. And credit Minnesota State for part of the reason why Kentucky's not as sharp from distance.
I would almost give them all the credit right now for why they're not, because, I mean, they're contesting shots. They're not making the offense easy for Kentucky to run.
Schweim can't get it to go. Here's Kriisa. Ahead to Robinson. .345 to go in the first half. Carr. Kriisa trying to get it inside to Carr. He's covered up, but draws the foul. A couple of nice post moves to get open there.
Yep, again, down low. Kriisa did a great job of waiting. He had Brandon Garrison or Andrew Carr at any point during that possession posting up to get it down into the low post.
Initially covered up.
So one thing I wish Andrew would do, go up that left hand right there. Now, he wouldn't necessarily been fouled, and I say that like I was good at low post moves with my left hand. But at the same time, it's just that next level move where you can just go for that left-handed baby hook.
So second foul on Jones for Minnesota State. And one thing we asked Coach Pope about as Almonor gets ready to check back in is Minnesota State presented a different challenge tonight than Kentucky Wesleyan because they have a little more size, especially their guards. They've got some 6'7" guards out there.
I think not only is it their size, height-wise, I think there's kind of like Kentucky. There's a lot more strength. There's a lot more body out there. And I think certainly is a lot more quickness than they played against Kentucky Wesleyan. And, the one thing that Coach said earlier is that Minnesota State was playing tight. Mm-hmm. I don't see that tonight. And that's kind of what he was hoping for.
Let's give him go there to Jones. Robinson with a rebound.
You also see a lot of white shirts now, making sure that they're getting those defensive rebounds.
Butler trying to go all the way. Grabs his own miss. Out to Robinson from the corner. Got it.
I think Jackson made that one harder than he needed to. I mean, he went deep in that corner and even faded away without necessarily needing to.
That's 4 threes for Robinson. 15-0 run by the Wildcats. And they have pulled out to a 17-point lead. Here's Willingham in the lane. Left hand won't finish.
Great defensive help. Team defense by Kentucky that time.
Kriisa to Robinson again. 5!
Robinson knew that was going in the moment he released it. Immediately Steph Curry turned and just started walking towards the Kentucky bench.
And now Rupp Arena's come to life. Broadus can't get it cleanly to Jones, and they're going to...
Here's the response that Pope was looking for. When it gets tough, when you've got to grind, what are the things you do? It's fading away deep in that corner. And watch it. I hope the camera catches this. Watch this three. Shoot, release, turn, and walk. Yep, I got it. I got it, boys. I got it.
Turnover by the Mavericks. Dribbled it out of bounds. Here's Robinson. And had that one poked away. Schweim to Willingham. And a nice finish by Daniel.
Great job by Kriisa that time by trying to get back. But again, Minnesota State running. That's where Kentucky's got to get back faster. Regardless of turnover, no matter what happens down this end, you've got to get back and get your man.
That bucket stopped an 18-0 run by the Wildcats. Kriisa with a rebound.
Again, you see Kentucky doing a great job of not just reaching for rebounds, but batting them back out.
Kriisa from deep. He was nearly to Corbin on that shot.
His first three is a Wildcat.
Broadus denied.
I think that was denied twice. I think Garrison got that and Lamont Butler got that.
Under 90 seconds remaining. Kentucky by 21. Kerr again. Too long on that one. Garrison battling hard for the rebound, but the Mavericks with a nice box out. Broadus finds Willingham. That's who they need right now. Willingham gets fouled on his way.
Now that's where, again, you saw Kentucky players trailing. as opposed to getting back in that paint and then coming out. Deep three by Kriisa. Kriisa, just the moment he gets in, that was blocked by 2 Kentucky players, I'm almost positive. I think Lamont got it first and then Brandon Garrison got it second. But Kriisa, the moment he checked in, you see the energy change, right? I mean, Lamont brings all kinds of energy. He'll guard 95 feet on this court, and it's hard to keep him from the basket. Kriisa comes in, and it's like it's kind of like he's just going at different speed than everybody else. I mean, he is just constantly forcing that basketball up the court. The moment it's in, made or missed shot, he is gone, and that just puts all kind of pressure on the defense. Whether it turns into something immediate, transition or not, defense has got to run back, and ultimately that exhausts you.
Foul was on Almonor, and Willingham connects on 1 out of 2. Oweh back in for the Wildcats. Kriisa directing traffic. Under a minute to go. Here's Almonor. Out of Oweh. Back to Almonor quickly. Penetrates. They swing it back out to Robinson so quick. Robinson forces it up short.
He got fouled a couple times on that play too.
Upsall gets it across half court with 30 seconds remaining. Kentucky started this game 2 of 13 from 3. They have gone 6 of 10 since. Brea comes up with a steal, 15 seconds. That's plenty of time for the Wildcats.
And they got to know the clock. Know how much time, know what to run.
Brea out front. Brea's open. And a last-ditch heave falls well off the mark. And the first half comes to an end. The Wildcats finish the first 20 minutes on a 21-3 run. And they lead it by 20 at the break. Kentucky by 20 as we get ready to start the second half here at Rupp Arena. Great shot of downtown. Let's take a look at Minnesota State in that first half. Cameron Mills, Coach Markenthaler, he wanted his team to play loose and confident. We saw that early.
Yeah, Malcolm Jones that time on a great, just shot the gap, got the easy dunk, and again, no rotation. Jones again. Kentucky just kind of lost on defense. Offensively, though, started off slow from the three-point line, and what do we say? Get easy buckets, get those layups. Lamont Butler that time driving to the lane, and then again, we start to go inside and out because the defense has to respect the fact that these guys got the ability to get to that lane and get the easy bucket, but inside out opens up three-point lanes all day long, and again, Jackson Robinson, no question about it, seems like he's going to hit every one he shoots today.
Yeah, Jackson Robinson started the night 2 for 5 from beyond the arc, but then came off the bench after a breather, reset, and made 3 of 4 to end the half, part of that 21-3 run by the Wildcats. Kentucky as a whole started 2 of 13 from the floor from distance, but man, what a job. I think they were 6 of 10 to finish the half.
Well, it goes back to something I said earlier. It's like when you've got a team that, look, that is a tremendous part of their offense. They're not going to stop shooting them because they're missing them, right? It's one of the things that makes the three-point shot so dangerous because it can neutralize, any difference in talent, difference in ability. And even though Kentucky may have more of it, I mean, we've seen Minnesota State stay in the first part of that game and still in this game by hitting threes as well. I mean, it's just a matter of, but Kentucky, they're not going to stop shooting. So eventually, you got to figure as well as they shoot, they're going to fall.
And we do have some news for the Wildcats. Amari Williams will not be available in the second half. Here's a look at what happened in that first half, checked on by the trainer. And, of course, this is an exhibition game. You got the regular season in front of you, so.
He didn't, like, you just see him walking off the court. It's not like he's being gentle. It's not being like, real gentle, but again, as you see there, it came back out and warm up. It's not even a question for this second half. So kind of like maybe what they did with Kriisa, depending on the injury, just going to, it's exhibition, just give him the rest of the day off.
So Brandon Garrison gets the start in the second half. Kentucky comes up with a turnover. Here's Carr, and that's an authoritative finish.
Well, all made by Oweh, though, because Oweh, again, active hands, deflection, steal, leads the break. Andrew Carr out on the lane early.
Broadus, tough handoff there to Daniel. Daniel had an active first half for the Mavericks, 8 points on 3 of 6 shooting, a couple of 3 balls. And here he goes again. That one's off the mark. And the rebound tapped out to Kirkman. His one-hander won't go.
Kentucky needs to do a better job of limiting Minnesota State to one shot per possession, not give them those offensive rebounds.
Oweh on the attack. Garrison. That one's pretty.
Nice roll by Garrison. Both of his shots that he's had, first and second half, both have been in that lane, but they've both been touch shots, and he's got both of them to roll in.
It is now a 25-3 run by Kentucky going back to the end of the first half. Here's Kirkman against Garrison. Into the lane, lost it. Couldn't tell if Garrison or Carr got a hand on that one, but the Mavericks have it back. And off the window, Kirkman gets the scoop shot. Butler goes on the attack for the Wildcats. You rarely will see the ball dribbled by this Kentucky offense. As I say that, Oweh picks up his dribble, drives it, tried to kick it to Carr, and it's knocked out of bounds.
Watch when Garrison gets this ball in the low paint. Nobody in front of him, right? Wide open again. That is such a difficult touch shot. Can't use the backboard. Just kind of got to float it up there with no one around you. It's like shooting a foul shot for a technical. Nobody's around the lane.
And it was all set up by Oweh, drawing the defense on the attack with the penetration.
Yep.
Oweh's by himself on the inbounds.
Let me get a replay of that play because I was busy looking at you instead of looking at what happened on the court. I don't know how Oweh was that open.
Oweh's got 11, 49-25.
Oweh just gets those utilitarian points.
And a nice deflection by Butler. Out to Oweh in transition. Now underneath the Garrison. Garrison spins under the basket, lays it in. And Minnesota State had to concede that one. Garrison, too much size. Timeout by the Mavericks. That'll bring us to a break here at Rupp. Cats on a roll of 51-25. Cameron, Kentucky drawing up an inbounds play here.
Well, again, it's a common inbounds play they run, but again, there's no switch, there's no conversation, no talking by Minnesota State. Oweh just finds himself wide open, and again, Brandon Garrison, don't think he quite understands the size advantage he has on either of those players, but again, being sure, being aware of where he is under the basket, and then finally up and able to get the easy bucket.
Cats with a huge lead. There you see the tail of the tape on Brandon Garrison, Oklahoma State transfer.
Kentucky lining up now. Again, Coach Pope coming out of timeouts, free throws, various different moments, throwing different defenses at the teams in the last game and this game. And right now, Kentucky picking up and looks like it looked like a press. It's just going to be Lamont Butler pressing full court.
Hey, when
one-on-one.
Butler presses, it might as well be full court press.
Again, Coach Pope has basically told him, look, anytime, you want to guard full court, you pick up full court.
Willingham down the lane. Couldn't get it to fall over that Kentucky defense.
Garrison got the block on that one.
Behind the back to Robinson, but he doesn't shoot it. Garrison underneath. Out to Carr. Out to Garrison underneath the Carr. Nice job to get open, and he finishes.
Coach Pope's talked all year about these bigs and how well they are at passing. That includes Carr. That includes Amari Williams. Brandon Garrison as well is a great little touch pass. He had some great touch shots and touch passes. He's just kind of floating the ball in well tonight.
Cameron, Kentucky's got 3 players with 3 or more assists tonight, led by Oweh, who's got 4. Now we've got a foul on the Wildcats. Let's take another look at that bucket by Carr and how he got himself open.
Great little pass by, again, Garrison, just kind of floating it over the defense, but not long enough that Andrew couldn't grab it, and still left him enough room to catch, come down with 2 feet, go straight up for the dunk.
I think about if you were on a football field, a quarterback trying to throw that over-the-shoulder or back-shoulder fade where only the wide receiver can catch it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that little touch pass. I mean, it really is where you just got to kind of loft it just perfectly. Otherwise, you've got defense that can get it on both ends or it goes sailing out of bounds.
Harmon able to get both free throws to fall. The foul, by the way, was on Oweh, his first. Oweh underneath the Carr. He's got the size advantage. Finished short and a foul on Minnesota State. Part of the reason why it was left short.
So the underneath out of bounds plays we saw where Oweh got open. Basically the same thing here, right? Where Andrew Carr's going to come all the way around, right? He gets screened right there by Lamont Butler. And again, his defender's got to go over or under that. And again, they find me streaking to the basket.
Foul on Daniel, his second for the Mavericks.
Those screens are so hard to guard too when your man is going to the basket, and unless you're conversing and talking loudly on defense, you don't know what's coming, because again, you're guarding your man and you're trying to look around, but that screen hits you in the back. If your teammate doesn't tell you it's coming, you can get laid out and your man's definitely going to be open.
Carr with 8 points now. He was 4 for 4, or is 4 for 4 at the line tonight. He was 10 for 10 in the blue-white scrimmage at the charity stripe. Butler hounding Broadus as he crossed half court. Give it to Harmon. Now to Willingham. Kentucky's done a nice job on Willingham, the top returning scorer, with Egan's out tonight.
And again, not a block by Garrison, but a great job of contesting, making it harder.
Robinson in transition. That's number 6.
Catch, release.
18 points, 6 of 9 from beyond the arc. He's got 11 triples in the 2 exhibition games. There's Daniel against Oweh in a one-on-one battle. Turnaround forced it up. Rebound tipped out, and Robinson's got it for Kentucky. Cross-court pass Butler. Underneath Garrison. Yep.
Great decisions all the way around there for Kentucky. Again, push the basket, reverse the ball, penetrate, find the big man in the lane.
Here's Willingham. Daniel, not afraid to trigger from right there. Instead comes to Kirkman. Kirkman working against Garrison. Fade away. Willingham's there to clean it up for the Mavericks.
And again, missed box out for Kentucky that time. And those are the kind of little things that I think drive a coach crazy. It's like that's fundamental. Find a man when the ball goes up.
With a lob to Almonor, and he got fouled from behind, and that'll bring us to a timeout. Jackson Robinson, no matter where he's got the basketball, once he crosses half court, you better be ready to defend him. Beautiful shot.
And that.
Partner, that's a lot of points there on the screen. Carr, Almonor, Williams, and Butler, all 1,000-point scorers. And when you think about what Coach Pope was able to do, he went out and find experience and success in the transfer portal. A lot of points there.
I know the transfer portal kind of changes everything, and it's the sincere question I don't know the answer to, but I can't imagine there being another D1 team with 4,000-point scorers on their roster. Just doesn't seem like that would happen that easy. You know, under the portal era, maybe it happens a little more often, but Coach Pope went out and got the right guys, mentally got the right guys for his brand of offense and Coach Feger's offense. And again, we've seen it in spurts in this game and certainly in that first game against Kentucky Wesleyan.
There you see Lamont Butler seated on the bench getting a breather. 6 points, 4 assists, 3 steals, and 2 rebounds. Almonor at the line shooting 2. Transfer from Fairleigh Dickinson, was first team all NEC. Made 93 three-pointers, shooting over 39% last year. Can't get either of the free throws to fall, and Jones with a rebound for the Mavericks. Of course, Minnesota State has a couple of 1,000-point scorers of their own. Kyrese Willingham, who's playing tonight, and Justin Egan's, who is out with an injury.
Oweh, just a great strip of the ball that time.
Carr. Wow.
I didn't see that one coming. Kind of laid up a couple early, just kind of, gingerly laid it up. That time he was like, no, I'm slamming this one. I'm making sure it goes down.
Just brought us out front against Kriisa. Robinson went for the swipe that time, and Schwein connects.
Was that the 4th three-pointer, I believe?
Robinson wants 7. How about it? 7th heaven for Jackson Robinson.
Jackson's not even letting me talk about Minnesota State's three-point shooting. He just wants to shoot them all himself.
21 points for the graduate senior. transfer from BYU.
What'd you say, is that 12 in the 2 exhibition
games? Yes. 7 of 11. Here's Broadus from deep. And that one's good for the Mavericks. Harrison Broadus. 65-35. Here's Robinson. Down low to Carr. A lob to Almonor. Corner 3 off the side of the backboard.
Well, you brought up earlier, Almonor can shoot. He's not of all the guys on this Kentucky team, he's not necessarily what most people think of as one of the best shooters, but he really can shoot the 3.
Broadus back to back. He's got 9. And Oweh finishes for Kentucky.
Oweh just again, just the 3-point shot, you don't think of him, but Oweh just gets everything in that paint. I think of that shot chart we saw earlier. All that black in the paint from that last game might have been Oweh.
Jones gives it to Schwein from the free throw line. That one stays down.
Minnesota State.
Almonor running the floor, and a great assist.
Kriisa that time with a 3/4 court pass. Kind of like what Kentucky saw a little bit last year from Reed Shepherd.
Carr goes for the steal, and he's got it. Look out! Look out!
Kind of a pedestrian dunk for what he could have done. I mean, he had the whole court. Nobody was near him. It was a 360, Andrew.
Jones trying to give it to Broadus, finally able to.
Broadus doesn't need to be left open at all.
He's got the hot hand right now for the Mavericks. They tick down towards 12 minutes. Step back by Schwein. Banked it in.
Still counts.
All of a sudden, the Mavericks have gotten hot down 31. Or, beg your pardon, 28. I was ahead of the scoreboard there. So the Mavericks get a rebound here. They've made 6 straight field goals. How about 7? No. Carr with the board.
That one a little bit forced that time by Broadus.
Robinson, here he is again. That's 8.
Again, when you've got a player that's hot, that is that hot, what do you do? Other than keep the ball out of his hands, which technically is pretty impossible to do for any player, what do you do?
Schwein was screened well for that 3, but it wouldn't go.
See if Carr actually looks for Robinson this time, because at this point,
Kerr's going to take it himself. No.
Maybe give Jackson a playoff.
Down to 11 minutes. Here's Willingham with a handoff to Broadus. Spins his way to the free throw line, out to Willingham. Willingham drives. And it's deflected and tipped away. Oweh. Nice move down the lane.
Nothing looks sudden or hard for him. It's all just kind of floating and just kind of weaving his way through transition or the defense.
Oweh's got 15 points to go with his 6 assists. Schwein with a bucket there for the Mavericks. 76-45, back and forth.
This is that last 10 minutes of the game where, again, both teams are tired. They're fatigued on some level, but what matters is how do we finish this game, either team.
A no-look pass and Carr with 2 hands.
Again, that offense where we've got guys, Kentucky's got guys cutting in the lane, and you've got to decide as a defender, are you staying with this guy that can shoot the 3, or are you following this guy down to the lane?
And the Mavericks will take a timeout. And that'll take us to break. How about these high-flying Wildcats? Robinson, 8 times he's connected from deep. And Kriisa, excellent pass to Carr. Jackson Robinson has put on a show tonight. Cameron Mills, we're going to do our best to give you all 8 threes before they resume play. How about this young man?
Again, I know I've said it, but there's no thought process to it. It is all reaction. Even the last one that we'll see at the end of this highlight reel where he pump fake, pulled over, it's like he knows coming down the court before the ball gets in his hand, he's got a feeling. That one right there where he knows he's going up with it. Just a little pump fake to the baseline, get the defender off balance, one step to the left, stay behind the three-point line, knock down your 8-3. 8th three of the game, and as you said earlier, 8 of 12 from three, as we see on the screen right now. 8 of 13 for the game overall.
Yeah.
So every shot's been a 3 but 1.
And he's made 13 of them in the 2 exhibition games, counting the Wesleyan game. By the way, the stats for both of these games will not count. Still impressive, though. Denial by Garrison, but that's a goaltend. He pinned it on the glass, and that'll be 2 points for Harmon. Still pretty impressive block from Garrison, who was pretty good at those blocks when he played for Oklahoma State in the Big 12. Kriisa down low to Garrison. Trying to muscle his way, and now we've got a foul called on, that's Kirkman for Minnesota State.
Kirkman's kind of had his hands full with Garrison all night. Remember, Amari Williams now hurt, started the game, but got hurt early. Garrison's getting a lot of these extra minutes.
Kriisa from the baseline has Garrison just outside the lane. Gives to Brea. Kobe Brea puts it up. Off the mark. And the rebound to Upsall. Kirkman out front. Tough handoff to Daniel. Upsall puts it up and in.
I think that's where Garrison's got to get out and challenge and contest a little more, regardless. There's Brea in the game. Statistically, last year, Brea led the nation in three-point shooting percentage. 0 for 3 tonight, so even without him hitting, Kentucky's still got that power.
He'll try again.
Well,
there it is.
Of course he hits it now. It's like the opposite of jinxing a pitcher when they're going for a no-hitter.
Kentucky was 2 of 13 to start the game from three-point range. They're now 12 of 30. Here's Upsall. Little fadeaway, staggered shot there, and it's left short, out of bounds to Kentucky. Let's take a look at Minnesota State. Been impressed with the way they've run their stuff tonight. They're going to be just fine in Division II.
Well, really, I think one of the things you're running into is there is a difference in athleticism. There's also a difference in height. We're seeing a lot of Minnesota, when they get in the lane, they're having to shoot fadeaways. Sometimes, like, steep fadeaways.
Yeah. Here's Noah. He's got Chandler in the corner. Underneath the Garrison. Garrison over the top of Harmon.
Maybe left hook shot I was talking about earlier, this time from Garrison.
83 to 50. 7:53 to go. Mavericks on the attack. Garrison knocked the dribble away. Now he's off and running. Garrison can't get it to finish. Chandler's there to try and clean it up. He's fouled.
If I put money on it, I wouldn't have had Garrison taking that all the way.
That's up big. They'll be at the line when we come back.
We have a timeout on the floor.
With Amari Williams not available for most of the night, including all of the second half, Cameron Mills, it's meant ample opportunities for Brandon Garrison to get minutes.
Well, first of all, you see the pick right here, man, just a great steal, and you think immediately, all right, he's going to throw it to Brea in the middle, right? Find a point guard, big man. No. I'm going to take it all the way and almost get it to roll in and would have set this place off. It's so much of it is confidence. Before that play, we saw Garrison get two relatively easy, but buckets for him, scored twice, and then again, just thought, you know what, I'm gonna get my 6 point in a row right here.
Drew Daniel picked up his 4th foul just before the timeout, so Chandler's at the line shooting 2. By the way, Garrison, 10 points, 3 rebounds tonight.
And to be fair to Brandon, he did look rather smooth dribbling the ball down the court and going. I don't think I shot my first left-hand layup till I was a senior here.
Chandler makes it 85 to 50, 7.5 minutes to go.
Catch coming up in looks like a 2-2-1 zone press.
Mavericks being patient, working it up the floor. They didn't get it across.
Too patient. We saw that same thing happen in the Kentucky Wesleyan game. Different pressure, different setup, but same thing happened where they're bouncing it back and forth, and no one's paying attention to that shot clock. to see, all right, how much time do we have before we got to get it over half court? And Minnesota State making that mistake gives the ball back to the Wildcats.
Jackson Robinson, 8 threes, not on the floor right now, but Kentucky's got some shooters out there along with Garrison. Here's Chandler out front. He thought about the trigger, gives it to Garrison, and wow, what a poster! Who needs threes?
When the threes start falling, though, again, it's just the reverse. All of a sudden, that inside becomes open.
Here's a long three by Schwein that's no good. Kentucky, by the way, when you talk about those threes falling that open up the interior, they started 2 of 13, so they go inside. And once they do that, the outside opened up. They've made 10 of their last 17 from beyond the arc. Here's Butler. Chandler. Yep.
So Butler has the three-point shot, right? No doubt he was open, but again, makes the point guard decision to say, but I might have a better shooter over here in Chandler on the wing that probably a little bit more open. So it's decisions like that that just make this team better.
That's Chandler's first three. He was 0 for 4 against Kentucky Wesleyan, and he's now 1 for 3 tonight from distance. Here's Broadus, and he lost it but got fouled, and that's why he lost it. Let's take another look as Garrison brought the thunder.
And again, Garrison just everything happening, but that whole play made by, look at Chandler's pass right here. Again, notices the switch from the pick and roll, notices it early and realizes unless they rotate, my big man's gonna be open, so he just hooks it over to him.
Free throw for Broadus is good. And you notice on another thing on that replay was Kirkman for Minnesota State trying to get out of the way because he didn't want to be on that post.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There was rotation.
Yeah.
Minnesota State rotated and then rotated out of the way. Like he rotated in, kind of got the feeling of what was about to happen, and just kind of, oh, all right. I got here late. I got to pay for it. And
I don't blame him.
I mean, because what's the alternative? You foul him?
Yeah. 90-52. Travis Perry now in the game for the Wildcats. They give it back to Garrison, though. Garrison against Willingham. Couldn't get that one to go. Willingham trying to spin away from Chandler. And that one off the glass, no good.
Should watch Chandler. Well, see what he does on offense here.
He's got Brea, corner three. No.
Let's watch Chandler on defense. He never quits on a screen. He is fighting over the top on every single screen. Again, just frustrating the offense.
Here's Harmon, knocked away by Brea, collected by Harmon. So the Mavericks keep the possession alive. And Broadus from the free throw line extended. No, but Jones is there for the offensive board, and 2.
Again, like we said, for the last 10 minutes, now the last 5 minutes, legs are starting to get a little jelly-like, especially those that have played a lot of these minutes on both squads. This is where mental mistakes can start to happen. Regardless of the score, you don't want them to happen if you're the head coach of either of these teams.
12 on the shot clock for the Wildcats. Brea, and he got fouled trying to spin his way up to the basket. 9 on the shot clock.
Brea's 0 for 4, I think, from the three-point line. Maybe he made that one, actually, when I was talking about the fact that he was 0 for 3. 1 of 4, but just trying to make things happen again. If you're not hitting from outside, you go to the basket. You get fouled or you get the easy bucket. For whatever reason, the basketball guys just see to it that all of a sudden that outside shot starts to fall.
Jones picked up his 3rd for the Mavericks. Brea shooting 2. 5 points in the game tonight. His free throw rattles in. Kentucky now 10 out of 14 at the line. I brought up the fact that he got fouled with 9 on the shot clock because one thing you and I haven't touched on enough, Cameron, is the fact that with Kentucky's offense, they're shooting the ball at times with 15 seconds or more still left on the clock.
Yeah, no,
shot clock.
And I think that's absolutely part of the mindset. One of the things that Lamont does it, Lamont Butler does it, Kriisa does it. They're supposed to initiate their offense with 27 seconds left to go on shot clock, meaning it's supposed to be over half court and initiated. That first pass is to be made. There isn't any kind of walking it up, and then all of a sudden we realize we're out of time. They're wanting to get into the offense, get a shot quick.
Schwein on the connection for the Mavericks. Almonor feeds Brea. Now they'll come to Chandler. Underneath to Almonor, perfect pass, led him right to it.
Chandler with 2 great passes in the last few minutes. One to Garrison for that big slam, and that one just a nice little thread pass to Almonor.
Here's Harmon. Nice defense there by Perry. Broadus got around Chandler and goes to the rim.
Chandler still about made up for it. You forget how well he can jump. About tried to pin that one against the backboard.
Broadus is 13 to lead Minnesota State. Here's Noah. Had his pass tipped. Perry runs it down. Nice hustle.
Yeah.
Chandler, free throw line. Back to Almonor for a triple. No. We got a foul. I think that's on Noah. It'll be Minnesota State possession. 3:42 left in this one. Cats up 94-59. Brandon Garrison, the transfer from Oklahoma State, has put on quite a show tonight for the folks here at Rupp Arena. 12 points, 4 rebounds.
It's a great job by Garrison. Always seems to understand where he is, where his defender is, where the goal is. A couple times doesn't understand who's guarding him, like that when he probably could have gone up with it. But there's that great pass by Chandler and that slam by Garrison. And again, even though he missed the layup, other than the dunk, I'm still impressed with this little pickpocket down here leading the fast break.
Speaking of pickpocket, Travis Perry got him one.
Great read on that backdoor cut by Perry.
And now he wants 3, but it's off the mark. Cats with the offensive board, leads to an open look by Chandler. No. And Jones has it for the Mavericks, and he's fouled. It was Noah and Perry combining the double team, and they'll get Perry on the push.
It's one of those things, like, especially when the game is like at this point, where most of the time you're telling your players, unless you're a pressing team and you're literally going to press on a missed shot, where you're telling your players, look, all right, let's get back, otherwise we're going to get stupid fouls. And that's what happened. I mean, Travis and Trent both that time. Again, you love their hustle, but at the same time it's like, all right, let's get back on D if that's what we're going to do, unless we are going to pick up full court.
Only the 4th foul on Kentucky, first on Perry, but 3:15 to go. Harmon into front court. Here's Schwein, in and out. That one was halfway down.
And that was absolutely a play that was set up in the break.
Chandler gives to Almonor. It's always that one extra pass.
It always is. Question is, when you got so many guys like Kentucky does that can score from deep, are you ever passing one of those up to maybe find an open three-point or an open teammate? Kentucky's defense has picked up in the second half as well. And again, the shots start falling, all of a sudden that energy starts flowing. You start getting to where you're assigned to get on defense, finding your man that you're assigned to find.
They lead Perry under the basket, too deep to shoot it though. Back out to Almonor. Now to Noah, to Chandler, back to Noah. Left corner Perry, they wanted him to shoot it. Brea will, off the mark, and Harmon with a board for the Mavericks. Pushing it to Schwein, corner 3, rattles in. Timeout, Mavericks. Well, this is the final preseason exhibition game for the Wildcats. The timeout was just for a rotation of subs for the Mavericks. Regular season begin next Monday for Kentucky against Wright State, but take a look at some of these notable games Kentucky has coming up. That matchup with number 7 Duke, who laid waste to Arizona State in an exhibition, is going to be a great matchup and a great test for Mark Pope's team.
Well, again, Coach Pope has said he wants his team to be tested. Well, right here, November 12th, they're going to be tested, and we're going to find out exactly what kind of Kentucky team we've got this year. But again, that whole schedule, none of that's necessarily easy. But I don't think Coach Pope wants it to be easy. I think it's the idea of, hey, we want to be tested at every moment because we've got a goal in mind, and we need to make sure we've got everything figured out by the time we get there.
One notable point on that schedule we showed you, the matchup with Gonzaga. The Zags lost to USC in an exhibition game, although it's October, but still it's a notable matchup.
A lot of exhibition, big-time teams playing these games early.
Tennessee lost at home to Indiana in a charity exhibition. And, of course, everybody in Lexington knows that Arkansas beat Kansas in an exhibition game. And we got some more substitutions, this one for the Wildcats. Walker Horn is in, the junior out of Austin, Texas. There's Chandler. He got free for 2.
Colin didn't realize how open he was. Got the pump fake, saw his defender kind of glide behind him, but still didn't think he had an open lane and realized he did. Went up for the dunk.
3 out front for Dawson Rudolph, the junior out of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. These are some big-time minutes for some of the backups for Minnesota State, some of their reserves.
I love the way Dawson handled that. The bench went crazy when he hit that 3. Like, okay, this guy that doesn't always get to play, we want him to score. Saw the same thing from the fans, against Kentucky Western when Walker Horn got in. But Dawson, he shot that 3. He just kind of strutted back like that's what he expected to happen.
Talked to Mavericks coach Matt Margenthaler before the game as we go under a minute, and we asked him about exhibitions against Division I teams, and he talked about how they've played Iowa State, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, but he said, Kentucky, this one is different. And the Wildcats proved too much tonight, 98-65 the score. Here's Pura Gong. It's Chase Bartlett from the free throw line. Bartlett connects.
You see that fadeaway. Minnesota State, they really are good. Now, again, when they've got bigger guys that they're trying to shoot over, they're doing that fadeaway. But
Cameron, Kentucky fans want 100, but Mark Pope just told Travis Berry to hold it.
I feel like that's a Mark Pope move. No reason to bury the needle, just end the game if that's what we've got clockwise.
Mavericks still playing, though. They're forcing Perry to run around with the ball. Now Noah holds it. Coach Margenthaler saying don't foul, but
we got a guard line up in, or Kentucky's got a guard line up in right now, and the fans still wanting.
And they'll run it out. There was about a half-second left, but they said run it out.
Coach Pope just nonplussed about the whole thing. No, we're good. We're good.
And wait a minute now. I think the officials are telling them to put the half-second back on the clock. So they told the cheerleaders to get off the floor, and we're going to play the half-second.
And the players to get back on the floor. And the coaches.
There's the half-second. Ball game's over.
Well, I'm sure there was a reason for that.
Yep, got to do it.
Got to play 40 full minutes, right? Not 39 and a half.
Well, Kentucky gets the win over Minnesota State, 98-67. Wildcats shoot 54%. They were 37 of 69 and 13 of 37 from beyond the arc, led by Jackson Robinson, who had 24 points on 8 three-pointers made. Let's take a look at Jackson Robinson's night here, Cameron. I mean, just anywhere on the floor, this kid lets it fly.
And watch it again. At no point is he thinking about shooting this basketball. Every single shot, it's almost pre-planned. He just knows it's going up. And the most valuable thing that Jackson brings to the team, well, it's hard to say this after watching the barrage of threes the last 2 games, but what he brings to the game, basically, he's the one player that has played for Coach Mark Pope before. So when it comes to understanding and explaining to his teammates what to expect, what coach is saying, what he means by this, that's invaluable to have when you've got 13 new guys on a team that you're trying to gel together and teach a new offense and new defense.
There you see some of the stats from tonight's game. Kentucky 28 assists, only 6 turnovers in tonight's game. They out-rebound Minnesota State 39-37. Minnesota State had a pretty good night shooting the basketball, 39% from beyond the arc, 39% overall.
Well, and again, I mean, they're a national championship team. I don't care what level it is. They have understood and learned what it is to say, you know what, it is a grind in that tournament. It is a grind to get there, and then once you're there, you've got to execute. And as we demonstrated quite well, I mean, Grammy Award-winning stuff, not Grammy Award, Oscar Award-winning reenactment of the three-point shot that was hit to put Minnesota State in, or to give them the national championship.
Kentucky wins it 98-67. They got 24 from Jackson Robinson, 15 from Otega Oweh, and Andrew Carr with 14, but we're joined by Brandon Garrison, who had 12 points, 4 rebounds. And Brandon, you got an opportunity tonight. Amari Williams a little banged up, so more minutes. Made the most of it. Tell me about your game tonight.
Yeah, just like you said, man go down, so coach called me up and I was ready to play. I feel like I went out there and helped my team get the win.
In the first half, the shots weren't falling from outside. I thought this team did a great job of adjusting by attacking inside, and then later the outside shots started falling.
Yes, sir. That's what Coach preached. You know, we shoot a lot of threes, so like when they're not falling, Coach preach, hit the rolls, get it inside, and then once the bigs are finishing, kick it back out. And the second half, I feel like our shots were falling.
But at what point did you feel like, Brandon, like, okay, the ball's coming into me, where a lot of times, again, you'll throw it out to someone else because that's part of the game plan, but you kept it. I mean, you found yourself open and took the shots that you knew you needed. Was that a conscious decision, or it's just like, nope, it's just the way the game is played and how I reacted?
Well, yeah, just like you said, I wasn't trying to be selfish, but like I had multiple times I had small dudes on me, so it's just like, don't be weak, just go up there and finish it.
So you picked the pocket down here and played point guard all the way down with your left hand and almost got that one to fall.
Yeah, you know, I feel like Euro step from the half-court line and lost my balance, but it is what it is.
You also had an assist tonight, and I know one thing Coach Pope loves about you and Williams and even Andrew Carr, these bigs, you guys can pass the basketball. You're so good at it. How critical is that for the success of this offense, that you guys can work inside out and see the floor well for the guards?
Yeah, like you said, I feel like me and Amari, best big man passers in the country, and like you said, Coach Pope preaches, you got to have big man to find your shooters, put it in their pocket so they can knock down the shot.
Brandon, congratulations, impressive performance.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thanks for being with us. And that's Brandon Garrison after the Wildcats get a 98-67 victory. Kentucky once again flying high from deep. Jackson Robinson with 24 points. The Wildcats go 2-0 in their preseason exhibitions this year. For Cameron Mills and our entire SEC Network digital crew, I'm Darren Hedrick saying good night from Lexington.